But on the casting details, originally the white actress was billed as Flora. So they actually probably thought, okay, this is not going to go down well, and tried to change Flora's name to cover it up. But I mean, you've been called out, everybody knows. Hi guys, welcome back to the Shannon Show. Hello if you're new. So today's video is going to be a discussion around Netflix's adaptation of Fate, the Winx Club. I hope everybody is doing as well as can be, and I really do hope everybody is being as proactive as possible in supporting the Black Lives Matter movement. And if you're still on the lookout for some resources, I've linked some in the description. Feel free to comment down below your thoughts on my commentary. I'm always up for a chat, I'm always up for debate. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you didn't, give it a dislike. No hard feelings. And if you really like this video, consider subscribing and helping your girl out. So, the Winx Club. Obviously, the trailer just dropped. The Winx Club. Obviously, the Winx Club originally was a cartoon. I wouldn't say I was like a dedicated fan, but I was a fan of the series. I haven't watched every single episode, but I did kind of keep in for a while, in and out when I was a preteen. You know, them ones when your parents can't afford Sky no more and you have to watch Pop Girl. UK Pories, I know you know. Pop Girl got me through a lot of times, but that's why I was watching it. And obviously what drew me to the series was aesthetic. All of the fairies look gorgeous. They were always in their best fit. And honestly, Aisha and Flora, obviously these were kind of the first cartoons that I had seen of colour, and the girls are looking absolutely gorgeous. Aisha, she was my bitch, you know, I had to stand the black one. Flora as well. And honestly, it was the first time that I had seen a multicultural looking group of friends that looked like something that I encountered in real life, in my real life. My group of friends was very multicultural, so it was nice to see that in a cartoon when I had been used to, at this point, just having either like unrealistic cartoons where everyone's like pink, blue and yellow, or just an all-white cartoon. So yeah, so I was here for the multicultural slay. I love the colourful, bubbly aesthetic, and that's what I was here for. So obviously the trailer came out yesterday, and obviously there's been a lot of discourse online about the casting. But the casting information has actually been out for a long time, like pretty much a year the casting information has been out. And I did come across the casting information around like 9-ish plus months ago. So I knew the girl from Sabrina was going to be in it, and I assumed, yes, she's Bloom. Okay, that kind of makes sense. But I'm not going to lie, the picture that she was with, the girls in it, I was just kind of like, is this going to be the rest of them? Like, is this serious right now? So I just didn't really pay it any mind. But obviously the trailer came out, I was like, okay, this is official, like these are the girls. So I was just like, okay. So obviously the trailer came out, and I personally was not impressed by the trailer, but obviously I'm going to get into that in this video. But the first thing I'm going to point out is obviously there is a big contrast. Obviously the aesthetic for Winx Club was very bright and bubbly and fun, while this kind of does look like a kind of grittier, dark, uncolourful, you know, realism fantasy side rather than the hyper unrealistic, bubbly fantasy side. It kind of felt a bit more witchier than fairies, in my opinion. Like, I was not getting any fairy aesthetic from it. It kind of reminded me of Sabrina-ish. People are saying Riverdale. I didn't really get Riverdale, to be honest. I kind of felt more of a Sabrina, The Order. That's kind of the vibes that I was getting. I see what people are trying to say, but I feel like in that realm, the gritty, dark drama, the way that they've taken Riverdale, yes, I can see those elements. But for me, it was more kind of Sabrina, The Order vibes that I was getting. So I think the first thing that we should talk about is what I think the biggest topic in the Winx discourse is the whitewashing, or the accusations of whitewashing. So a lot of people have accused Netflix, or the people behind this Winx Club adaptation, of whitewashing two key characters, Flora and Musa. Do I believe that they have? I'd have to say yes. It looks that way to me. So let's discuss this. So the first person, I feel like the first person that's getting the most heat is Flora. Obviously Flora, the cartoon, tanned Latina. People are saying, I've heard some arguments saying it's an alien and aliens are fair game, like they're fairy aliens. Nah. Sorry, that's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous. The creator of the show themselves said that Flora is based on Jennifer Lopez. So for those of you denying that Flora is in fact a Latina, stop being stupid. And the actress who is playing Flora is clearly white. Now, they have actually changed Flora's name and changed her to a completely different character. But on the casting details, originally the white actress was billed as Flora. So they actually probably thought, okay, this is not going to go down well, and tried to change Flora's name to cover it up. But I mean, you've been called out, everybody knows. The actress is clearly white. Now, I don't know if she is a white Latina, but even so, it's very clear that Flora was a tan Latina, even could be an Afro-Latina. So for me, this is whitewashing here. Lots of people are trying to rationalize this as a defense of, yes, we're losing one type of representation, but we're also gaining a different representation, such as plus size, because obviously the actress is plus size, but they so easily could have found a plus size Latina actress. I mean, Barbie Ferreira in Euphoria would have been perfect, in my opinion, if they wanted to make a plus size Winx. If they wanted to rebrand the Winx Club in that way, they could have done that. So honestly, I think this is bad. I think that there has a ratio going on. I'm disappointed with this specific casting, and I think this is on the people who created the show's back, and I think it's on the actress's back as well. I think in this year of social consciousness, the actress is grown up enough to know what she's doing and the implications of this role and what kind of discourse it's going to bring about. Obviously, everybody is out here trying to pay their bills. She's entitled to do that, but she should also expect the backlash as well, because I feel like she is taking the role away from, like, this is erasing Latina representation. And even though essentially whose fault it is the most is the people who thought it was acceptable to put her in this role, there has to be a point where you are using your privilege to say, this isn't right. Yes, it'd be lovely to take this role, but I do think it's going to be important to have brown skin Latina representation, and therefore I can't take this role, and I really do think that you should go the extra mile and find this model. Obviously, they did their casting in London and in Ireland. There is a Latinx community in the UK. It's definitely not as big as it is in America, but there definitely isn't a significant amount that you could have found somebody. So I think this is definitely a disappointment, definitely some laziness, definitely some cheekiness, and I guess an element that might, you could say, ruin the show, because obviously my title is going to be like, has Netflix ruined the Winx Club? But I'd be interested to hear from you guys. Do you think it is that deep or not? I'd be interested to hear from you guys. And then the next one is Musa. A lot of people are saying that, again, there's been some whitewashing here. I think this is a bit more complex, because I believe that the actress is mixed race, and she is actually so she is of Asian descent. I'm not quite sure what the percentages are. I know it sounds weird saying I don't know what percentage she is. I've heard that she's half, I heard that she's quarter. Still kind of opens up this debate, is if we are putting people who are mixed race in roles that were originally for a monoracial character, is that now whitewashing? Does that contribute to whitewashing? Is that just as bad as if they were to put a white actress in this role? I don't think it is as bad, but I do think it is a bit of a conversation. I'm not necessarily against it, because, you know, mixed race representation is still quite low as well, and we're seeing it more and more. But only in my experience, when there's mixed race representation, it's usually black and white. You never really see white and Asian. You never see like white and East Asian, white and South Asian. You never really see that. If you're of that underrepresented heritage and there's no roles for you, I guess you're going to be forced to put yourself in a position where you have no choice but to go for those monoracial roles. So I understand there's a little bit more nuance in this specific casting. I think my issue when it comes to that is the colorism debate, where people who are mixed race do look monoracial and they pass as monoracial. And I think for me, when that is the case, I don't really have that much of an issue with that. The biggest issue for me in those cases is when the mixed race person looks ambiguous, and the actress who is playing Musa does look racially ambiguous. If you have to guess what ethnicity the person is, I'm not talking about what country in Asia they come from, where you can't really tell if they're Asian or not, that is ambiguous. And I feel like that is a problem when you are taking the roles of monoracial people. I feel like if the person can pass as monoracial, I feel like there is less of an issue for me. I still think it is a bit of an issue, but it's less of an issue for me. But when the person looks ambiguous, I think it's a tad cheeky, because I feel like that's when erasure does come in, because that kind of feeds into kind of, you know, having people with Eurocentric features represent a monorace. It's getting a lot of identity politics in this, but I feel like you get what I mean. So even though she could be of Asian descent, she looks ambiguous, and I feel like that is a problem. So for me, in terms of mixed race people taking monoracial roles, if you can pass as monoracial, it's not that big of an issue for me. But when you're looking ambiguous, I feel like it's problematic in my opinion. But I'd be interested to hear from you guys, because like I said, it is a bit of a nuanced argument, because she is of Asian descent. I'm not sure if she's East Asian descent or South Asian descent, because if she's South Asian descent, then I feel like that's even more problematic. But she's of East Asian descent, because the creator did base Musa off Lucy Liu. I do think it is a problem, and like I said, you can argue she's an alien what you want, but the creator did base Musa off Lucy Liu. So if you're saying it's an alien, it doesn't matter. Again, stop being stupid. So that's my kind of discourse on the whole whitewashing thing. Let's move on. So obviously, the next big thing I think is obviously a key character, Tekna, is missing. Like, she's just not there. And she was an OG character. She was there from the first season. So people are just kind of like, why would you not include her? For me, it's a bit confusing that they didn't include her. I'm thinking maybe the budget. That's why they didn't include her, because they have made cuts to some of the cast. And what's quite interesting is obviously Aisha wasn't in season 1. She came in season 2, and Tekna was in season 1. So I guess maybe because of the backlash, if this season does well, they could maybe introduce her after. But it seems quite strange that if they were going to do that, which would probably be a backtrack, they've made a decision to. But for me, this kind of looks like they couldn't pay all of the actors, so they decided to just cut one of the actors out. Like I said, I wasn't really that invested in the Winx Club season, so I can't really say that I'm heartbroken she's not in there. But for me, I kind of just feel like they could have just added another actress in, especially for main cast. I feel like if they were going to cut somebody, why cut people a part of the Winx Club when it's a Winx Club series? Like, they could have cut out a love interest or somebody else. You know, they could have cut somebody else out. I don't know why if they were going to put characters on the chopping block, why would you chop one of the Winx people out when it's a Winx Club series? So for me, that doesn't really make sense. Another culling to the cast is obviously the Tricks, the Mean Girls. They've basically just condensed them all into one character, which I'm a bit upset about, because I feel like you need the Mean Girls, you know? You know, one Mean Girl can do the job, but 3, you know, you need a little girl group of Mean Girls. So I'm upset about that. But I feel like if they had to make budget cuts and cut the Mean Girls down, it makes sense to just make them into one Mean Girl. But I'd be interested to hear from you guys. Do you think, okay, you're disappointed about it, but it makes sense if the budget was tight just to condense it into one Mean Girl? Or do you feel like, no, they should have brought back the trio? I'd be interested to hear from you guys. So let's talk more about the look. Obviously, I kind of already mentioned it before, but like I said, I was kind of disappointed and a bit confused about the look and the aesthetic that they went for. Obviously, I was expecting a kind of bright, bubbly aesthetic. I was thinking possibly CGI could be an option for them, but CGI is like so expensive to do. So I was kind of thinking, how are they going to do it? Obviously, they decided with minimal CGI. I feel like they're only doing that for powers and stuff. Possibly the wings, if they decide to give them. I think that they will. But they have decided with kind of just on location, on set. That's what they're going with. I don't have a problem with that. Obviously, I did film studies, so I know how expensive these things can get. So to limit the CGI makes sense. But they still could have made it colourful with the colour grade, made it bubbly. It just kind of seems like gritty and downbeat. It just kind of seems like the order to me. Even if they did want to take it down an edgy route, they still could have brand the colour with it. It could have been colourful and edgy. I don't know why edgy now needs to be simultaneous with dark. Like, why? Because I feel like the colourful aesthetic is what brought in a lot of the audience. So for it to, the rebrand for me doesn't make sense just yet. Let's get into the actual look of the cast. Let's get into it. I'm gonna try and be as politically correct as possible. So let's just get into it because a lot of people have been talking. I've had a lot of people be disrespectful and say that the cast looks ugly. I don't think they were talking about all of them, but I'm not gonna say who. But yeah, some people were saying that the cast looked ugly. And just like, you know, where the bad bitches at. So obviously with the the original Winx Club girls are an unattainable standard of beauty. Nobody looks like the Winx Girls Club in real life. But in terms of what in my fantasy the live action version would be, I kind of did think, obviously the extreme version would be the Victoria's Secret models, the tall models with the itty bitty waist. But I think for me, I was thinking for the Netflix version, I thought it was just gonna be, those Y2K Instagram influencer model type people that they put in their teen shows anyway, with the itty bitty waist, slim, maybe some slim thick, if they wanted to switch it up. Some bad bitches, that's who I was expecting. Some, Insta baddies, that's what I was expecting. Some Insta baddies that can act, that's what I was expecting for myself, personally, when I heard that they were doing a Winx Club adaptation. That's the kind of aesthetic that I was expecting. So for me, I'm not here to judge anyone's physical look because I don't actually think the physical looks for me are the issue. But it is the vibes. It is the energy. None of these girls, unfortunately for me, are, from the snippet that I've seen, none of these girls, and from the people that I have seen in prior work, so even Abby, even though people are saying, well, she looks the most like a Winx girl, I kind of agree, none of them are giving me bad bitch energy vibes. Like, Abby and Sabrina, she was a mean girl, but was she a bad bitch? I don't know. And not everybody can be a bad bitch, and that's okay. But that's what I was expecting from the Winx Club. And I'm not entirely sure whether it is, the actors just ain't bad bitches, and like I said, that is okay. Or whether it's the outfits. Because I think the outfits is a very big issue here. Because I think maybe if, they beat them to the gods, it was Euphoria makeup, but also extra campy. And they were serving looks, Y2K looks, the aesthetic that the Winx Club people had, maybe I would feel differently about them. But right now, I'm just not getting, bad bitch vibes. And that's what I'm the most disappointed about. But like I said, I don't know whether it's the outfits that are throwing me off. But let's discuss the outfits while we're talking about the looks. Let's talk about it. So obviously, this is the first look that we were introduced to. So obviously, the person who's playing Musa on the end, honestly, the check must have been good because I would have refused to come on set on that outfit. I mean, and it's bad on the wardrobe people because they saw her come out of her trailer in this outfit and they said, yes, we're going to film in this outfit. Like, these shorts are just like, it's giving me very 2010 vibes, and I was dressing a mess in 2010, but I don't even think I would come out in this. Like, she's wearing, like, the outfit is a mess. Like, the high knee socks with those kinds of trainers from TK Maxx, the puffer jacket, it's just a mess. She looks a mess. It's not very flattering. And, and she looks like, a 25 plus year old woman who is dressing like a preteen. So it just looks very discombobulating. Then we've got, I think it's Stella's outfit. Now, her outfit is probably the best in this lineup. I think it's a pretty decent outfit, but it's not what I think a Winx girl would wear. Then we have Abby. Again, a decent outfit if you're in year 7 and you've picked out all your best clothing that match on non-school uniform day. Winx Club material? I think not. Aisha, I know it's not your fault, girl. I know it's not your fault. But they've got her in a granny get-up. I don't know what's going on here. The cane rows, the braided cane rows, just looking extra bulky, not doing anything for her face structure. A mess. And then Flora on the end, whatever her new name is, I think she's been done the dirtiest. She's been done the dirtiest. Her outfit is so unflattering. I mean, black leggings and black Air Forces. What? This is definitely giving me Child Year 7 on school uniform day. Like, and then it's just discombobulating because her hair actually looks decent, and then the outfit, like, what? A whole mess. And then there's another picture where they don't look as bad, but it just looks like basic average. This is like, you know, 2 months into college where you've wore all of your best clothes and now you're just coming into college with anything. Now this is the vibe that I'm getting. So the outfits are just a mess. And you know, I did go creep on all of their Twitters to see if they were commenting about the discourse, and obviously somebody added Precious, who plays Aisha, and said, you know, is all the clothes going to be a mess like this? And she basically tweeted a meme basically confirming that the wardrobe is going to be a mess for the whole season, which I'm very disappointed about. But you know, I'm not here to bash anyone. But yeah, I'm not here to bash anyone because a check is a check. Obviously, they probably weren't happy with the outfits either. The check is a check. The wardrobe people are definitely to blame, not the actresses. But yeah, it's just like, why? Absolutely. So it's just like, we're going to be given dead outfits for the rest of this season. Why? Who is responsible? And why do you love ruining things? Why? But I gotta hear from you guys. I heard some people say, you know, it's refreshing not to have the girls hypersexualized like, you know, these teen shows usually do. And I have to disagree. Because the Winx Club was selling us sex, they were selling us sexy, they were selling us bad bitch, and I was living for it. And that's what I wanted. So on this occasion, I'd have to disagree. Bring me the hypersexualized people. And people are saying it's like Riverdale, but I gotta say, Riverdale knows how to cast some bad bitches. Every main female character on Riverdale is a bad bitch. So I needed them to bring a lot more heat than they bring, to be honest. So I'm disappointed. But I'd be interested to hear from you guys. At the end of the day, this is all just a teaser, but obviously it's very clear that this is a rebrand going on, and it's not going to be the Winx Club that we all know and love. And for that reason, will I still be watching it? The answer is yes. I mean, I react to lots of things on my channel. I mean, I was still going to watch it anyway, just to kind of see, to be honest. And who knows, maybe I could watch it and completely appreciate the new direction that they went in. But I don't think I will. But like I said, we'll have to see in it. We'll have to see. But yeah, the whitewashing, they was wrong for that. The lack of outfits, they were wrong for that. But like I said, I'm going to have to see. So yeah, if you want to see my reaction, be sure to subscribe to the channel so you know when that drops. I'm going to be at least reacting to one episode. But yeah, as always, let me know what you thought about my commentary. Let me know what you thought. Subscribe if you haven't yet, and if you have, don't forget to put my notification bell on so you know when the next video is dropping. I'm also trying to get to 2.3k subscribers. That's my next short-term goal, and I appreciate if you help me reach that. And thank you to everybody who has subscribed to my channel so far. Till next time, guys. Bye.